You know that person who laughs at absolutely everything? The one who finds dark humor in situations that would send most people into a full-scale emotional spiral? Society looks at them and sees someone who's lighthearted or perhaps a bit unstable, but the truth is far more provocative. Dude, you aren't looking at someone who's had it easy. You're looking at a survival masterpiece. While the masses are busy complaining about a bad haircut or a slow internet connection, there is a demographic of people whose brains have been fundamentally rewired by the kind of storms that break most human beings. If you've ever wondered why you can remain eerily calm while the world is falling apart, or why you find the absurdity of your own suffering hilarious, welcome to the fold. You've officially gone through too much, and your brain has adapted in ways the average person cannot even fathom. Today, we are dissecting the iron-clad neurobiology of the survivor's frequency, the specific mental architecture of people who have endured extreme psychological pressure. We are going to explore the phenomenon of bouncing forward, the aggressive empathy that makes you an emotional mind reader, and the heartbreaking grief for a version of yourself you barely remember. To understand why some people remain too okay in the face of chaos, we have to look at the high-level training of the nervous system. When you've survived a hurricane, a rain shower doesn't feel like a threat. It just feels like background noise. Your brain has developed what psychologists call a functional immunity to life's chaos. Not an immunity to pain, but an immunity to being demolished by it. This isn't a glitch or a lack of feeling. It is a clinical recalibration of your threat detection software. Most people walk into a room and see furniture, but you walk in and immediately sense the emotional temperature. You can spot a flicker of pain or a forced smile from a mile away because you have become fluent in the language of suffering. This is what we call aggressive empathy, because you've memorized the texture of silence, whether it's heavy with disappointment or sharp with irritation. You've become a human lighthouse for other people's storms. But there is a scientific term for this transformation that goes beyond simple resilience. It is called post-traumatic growth, or PTG. According to research by psychologist Richard Tedeschi, roughly 2/3 of people who endure significant trauma don't just bounce back to who they were, they bounce forward. Their relationships deepen, their priorities crystallize with surgical precision, and their appreciation for ordinary moments becomes almost comically intense. You might find yourself tearing up at a sunset or a decent cup of coffee, not because you're sensitive, but because you've seen the alternative, and your brain is refusing to take peace for granted. However, this evolution comes with a price tag that the self-help industry rarely mentions: the burden of hyper-vigilance. Your nervous system is an elite security team that never got the memo that the war is over. If you're the person who always needs to sit facing the door in a restaurant, or if you have 17 backup plans for a simple coffee date, you aren't paranoid. You are operating on a biological memory that safety is a luxury, not a guarantee. Your brain is running a constant background scan for exits and vulnerabilities. It's because in your history, the things that broke you were the things you didn't see coming. This often leads to a fascinating psychological contradiction. You are aggressively self-reliant. You will show up for a friend at 3 a.m. without a second thought. But the moment someone asks you what you need, you suddenly become busier than a one-armed juggler. Why? Because for the survivor, closeness has historically come with a price. When your early experiences taught you that connection is unpredictable, your nervous system doesn't relax when someone gets close. It braces. Dependence feels like a trap, so you learn to need nobody. Which sounds like a superpower until you realize it's also an incredibly efficient way to stay lonely. But let's talk about the armor you wear to protect this loneliness, the dark humor. In the world of high-level psychology, humor is a tool used to take power away from pain. When you can laugh at the absolute absurdity of your own suffering, you are committing a tiny act of rebellion against the things that tried to destroy you. Then it's not about being insensitive or cold. It's about using wit as a tactical shield to prevent the pain from regaining its grip on your identity. Yet, underneath the jokes and the hyper-independence, there's a quiet, persistent grief that most people never see. It isn't the grief of losing a person, it is the grief of losing the version of yourself that trusted easily. You are homesick for a place that only existed inside your own mind. It's a version of you who laughed without checking the room first, who moved through the world without a tightening in their chest. How do you explain to someone that you miss a person you barely remember being? That grief doesn't break you, but it makes you intentional. It turns you into someone who cherishes peace because you know exactly how much the chaos cost you. You value safe people not because you're picky, but because unsafe people were the ones who taught you how much it hurts to stay. Strength in this context isn't about never falling apart. It's about how many times you can reassemble the fragments of your soul, even when some of the pieces don't fit the same way they used to. Your survival didn't just give you thick skin, it gave you insight into the very mechanics of being human. You are a lighthouse, not because your life was gentle, but because you learned to navigate the kind of storms that would have swallowed others whole. A lighthouse doesn't shine because it's perfect. It shines because it remembers the darkness and refuses to let it win. So the next time you find yourself laughing a little too hard at a disaster or overanalyzing a minor shift in someone's tone, stop apologizing for it. You've earned that wisdom, and you've paid for that depth in a currency most people can't afford. You aren't too much, and you aren't broken. You are a rare, highly calibrated individual who knows that life can be brutal and beautiful in the exact same breath. If this deep dive into the survivor's mind felt like it was reading your personal code, it's because it was. Join us at the last Realists, where we skip the fluff and look directly at the neurobiological truth of why we are the way we are. You subscribe because the world is only going to get louder, and you're going to need a community that knows how to navigate the storm. Click the next video to understand why your overthinking is actually your greatest competitive advantage. We'll see you in the next exploration.